What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long-term issues. And that goes for all the viruses out there right now, which we will be talking about several of them today. Welcome to the Monday edition of the Pandemic Update for Monday, December 11th, 2023. First off, if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where we do the daily pandemic update. That's right, most days of the week, we give you a pandemic update on what's going on with COVID, flu, RSV, pneumonia, all these viruses out here that could be a health threat to you. If at the end of the video you learn something, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. Alright, starting off today, we do have several things that I want to show you first off. Then we're going to take a look at Walgreens data. And then we're going to take a look at a few state data sets as well. Starting off today, this is from Laura Myers on Twitter. Fantastic Twitter account. If you don't follow this account, you will want to follow this account. This is a great account. She put, the German health minister, a doctor, warns COVID remains dangerous. It's not a cold that you can safely catch every season. Rather, it affects the blood vessels or weakens the immune system, which means it cannot be completely cured. This is 100% true. I've been saying it time and time again here on the channel. We have shown several different stories and studies here on the channel that state COVID can weaken your immune system. And take a look at this. There's a picture. I'm assuming this is him. Yes, he still wears a mask as well. It's very important to continue wearing one of these masks. It's very important. Let me tell you a quick story today. I had to get some blood work done today at LabCorp. To my surprise, very few patients and workers there were masking. Come on, we're in the midst of virus season. In other words, where all the viruses, not just COVID, but now all the viruses are out to play. You need to be masking. Come on, LabCorp. You need to require patients and staff to be masking. Some are saying, oh, that's not necessary anymore. Okay, go on with that mindset. It's all fun and games until one of these viruses comes to you and gives you long-term issues, especially COVID. COVID is well known for causing long COVID, and there is plenty of living proof. There's plenty of studies out there that suggest it's a real problem. We can help prevent this, though, if everyone masked up together. All right, moving on to flu now. We do have a couple things to report about flu. 6 flu-reported deaths in Indiana. And then we move on to this. Riverside County, this is in California, confirms first 2 flu-related deaths this season. LA County has reported 1 so far. Moving on to this. Oklahoma doctor reports dramatic rise in RSV cases among children and older adults. So that's not good. Now we have a whole bunch of things from BNO News. Not good things either. First off, New York reports more than 20,000 new COVID cases this week, meaning the past week, an increase of 14% from the previous week. Then we go back to their page and there is more. So there's New York. Then we come to California. California reported an estimated 30,459 new COVID cases in just 1 week, up 30% from the previous week. So remember how the West Coast was slow to get the ball rolling? Well, it appears now that California, the ball is starting to get rolling and things are rapidly starting to go downhill in California. I mean, 30% increase, 30,000 cases in 1 week. And I know someone's going to say, well, there was a time period where that was done in 1 day. Yes, there was. But back then, more people were getting tested. PCR testing was easily available. You didn't have to pay out of pocket in most cases. Nowadays, you do, so less people get tested. And this means things are actually a lot worse than we know about. All right, getting to more numbers, and these are not good numbers at all. A weekly U.S. COVID update. New cases estimated 244,848 cases. Why is that so significant? It's significant because we know the number is multiple times higher than that. So we're already seeing it this high. That's not good. The average is now 206,628. That's up by over 20,000. 50 out of 50 states reporting. In the hospital, 17,232. That's up by 2,342. And unfortunately, ICUs. Yes, that's the next step, is rising. 1,818. That's up by 77. And when we see that rising, we know, okay, the next step means deaths start rising. And boy, are they ever. Deaths they're really rising now. They're rapidly rising. New deaths in the United States just in the past week, still in the rising phase of cases, is already at 1,682 in 1 week. And some are probably saying, well, back in the early days of the pandemic, we did that sometimes in a day, or we did more in a day. I get it, but again, this is in the times where, not everyone is being tested for COVID. Some people are dying and they never knew it was COVID. So we know this number is undercounted and it's likely higher. My big problem is they're already rapidly rising when we still are many weeks, in fact, maybe almost a month away from the peak in rise of cases. Cases are going to continue rising through to about the first or second week in January. And already deaths are rising? We have places like California where cases have just only started rising. And California is a big state. Texas is still bouncing around. They're not going straight upward yet. So this is truly concerning. And if this continues, I really hate to say it, we will probably have a week in January, 2,500 to 3,000 deaths in 1 week. That sounds bad, but I think it's true. I think it could potentially happen. Do I want it to happen? No, not at all. Is there any way to slow it from happening? Unfortunately, it's too little, too late for anyone to do anything to stop this. It's here. It's happening. You just need to try the best you can to keep yourself safe. And they do have a couple other things here to break down for this week's cases. 30 states, 136,718. The estimate from 20 states is over 100,000. And they say it, and we know it. COVID cases are now rising quickly in large parts of the U.S. with only few exceptions. Overall, 48 states are reporting increases. So you still have 2 states that are not rising yet. So that's just exactly what I was trying to talk about. It's just only starting to rise in some states, and there's still 2 states not rising, and yet already the last lagging indicator of a wave, deaths, are already on the rise. And remember, they started from a really elevated level. They never fully dropped below 1,000 prior to this wave. In fact, this is now the 13th week in a row with deaths over 1,000. Yes, it's just really bad. All right, continuing on, let's quickly take a look at air quality. Then we have to do some Walgreens data. We're just going to do a few states from Walgreens today. Then we'll do some more. I don't know when next time we'll do some more Walgreens, but taking a look here. Not terrible air qualities in the east. You can see across the Great Lakes, maybe there's some fireplaces going on. And not bad in the Northeast. Few random sites that always stick out for some reason. Then you have California and the West Coast. Just generally poor air quality. It's fireplace season. That could be part of the issue. There may be something else going on in California. That seems to be pretty bad, even just to say, hey, it's fireplace season. All right, moving on now. Let's take a look at Walgreens. Here's this week's update. And for this week, we see the current positivity rate is 29.3%. The prior week was 28.8%. That's up 0.5%. And unfortunately, we did not see testing go up. Testing, 17,878. That's down slightly. Prior week was 18,231. All right, let's do some states. I'm seeing red up in the Northeast. What's going on there? New Hampshire this week, 31% positivity rate, 17.3% the prior week. That's up by 13.7%, 29 versus 52. So testing's down, but we do know cases are also rising there. Wow, this looks pretty bad. Massachusetts, 46.9%. Prior week, 35.3%. That's up 11.6%. Testing down, but we do know cases are rising there as well. 32 versus 51 tests. So, yeah, we'll go with things are rising there. And hold on, no Pennsylvania just yet. New York State, we got to take a look at this because it was so high last week. Wow, it's actually even higher. It's continuing to go up. 54.3% COVID positivity this week, 50.3% last week, difference of up 4.1%. Testing's down a bit, 510 plus 581, but we do know, you just saw the data from BNO, that cases there are on the rise, so it's a combination of both. Now let's take a look at Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, 34.5% this week, 29.8% last week, difference of up 4.7%. And yes, testing's up 223 versus 188. That's a legitimate rise. Let's come down to Florida. 22.3% this week. The prior week was 20.7%, difference of up 1.6%. Total test 1,658 versus 1,786. Testing's down, and cases could be going up somewhat there as well. All right, California this week. This is not good. California, 37.8% versus the previous week, which was 29.7%. That's a difference of up 8%. And testing is actually down ever so slightly, but you know what? It's legitimately rising. You saw California's cases are up about 30%, so yes, we're going with it's a legitimate rise. Let's go to the northwest, farther northwest. What's going on in Alaska? 44.4% positivity this week. The prior week was 18.2%, excuse me. That's a big difference. That's up 26.3%. Now, they don't do a lot of testing, but the testing they do was up. So, yes, it's a legitimate rise. 18 versus 11. That testing should be doubled or tripled. And let's just do one more. Let's do Minnesota. 39.5% this week. The previous week was 31.6%. Difference of up 7.8%. Testing's down. 271 versus 316. However, when we do come over to the old CDC map, let's refresh this, we do see that in the Great Lakes and upper Midwest, look at this, there's a lot of red. And there's starting to be some orange and red sites showing up for wastewater in Minnesota as well. So that is concerning. All right, continuing on now. Let's take a look at the COVID-19, one of the many COVID-19 maps now from the CDC, and anywhere in this maroon color, you have states that are growing. Anything in this purple, likely growing. That's a lot of states. It's not all states, but it's the majority of states, and what you don't see on this map is the green or the darker green, likely declining or declining. It's just not happening. Everywhere is either stable, uncertain, or growing at this point. Moving on now to the latest variants, HV.1 at 29.6%, and then the big one, JN.1, is now up to 21.4%. On the next update, which we will get the Friday before Christmas, I believe, it's likely going to be the dominating variant. All right, taking a look now at the latest EMS calls for Philadelphia. That is not correct. We can pull up the correct numbers. Here they are. For Sunday, December 10th, 768 EMS incidents were reported. So yes, that's close to 800 again. Wouldn't surprise me if today they do come in with 800, being it's a Monday and the burbs have been really busy all day. Here's a live look in at Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. You'll see there's quite a few calls here right now. 14. Not seeing many respiratory at the moment. That's a good thing. Chester County has just been busy all day long, and we are seeing respiratory difficulty. We're seeing multiple sick person calls. I see at least 3 I'm seeing. Heart problems, all kinds of stuff going on here. It's just not a good day for the suburbs of Philadelphia right now. Taking a look across the river, across the Delaware River, into New Jersey, 578 hospitalizations in New Jersey, but I stress that number is likely underdone. Only 64 out of 70 hospitals are reporting 14 people on a ventilator, 62 people in the ICU. And how about discharges? 93 discharges reported today. Now we come over to New York State. 2,065 positive cases on the most recent update. Let's take a look at hospitalizations. Hospitalizations did go up ever so slightly to 1,640. Tomorrow's the day where they start a new week, and I am expecting that there'll probably be at least a 150 to 200 hospitalization rise. Maybe it'll be greater. I would be surprised if it's lower. That would be good news if it's lower, but any rise is not a good thing. But at this point, yes, you can see the trajectory. It's been going up, and with cases going up there, you have to assume hospitalizations will go up again tomorrow significantly to start the week like they have done the past several weeks. Alrighty, guys, that does it for today's pandemic update. we will possibly have another pandemic update tomorrow. We might either do something early in the morning or in the afternoon. I go and get my first injections tomorrow. If you don't see anything in the morning, assume there probably won't be anything in the afternoon. It all depends on what happens with this injection I'm going to get. I believe the drug is called Exolar. So we'll see. There could be side effects, or who knows? Maybe I'll be lucky and have no side effects at all. Of course, either way, I am going to let you know how this goes and how my experience goes with getting this new treatment for my breathing. Alrighty, if you learned anything and liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. If you have any comments you would like to leave here about this video or anything, maybe something that I did not report on, by all means, leave a comment down below. If you know anyone that needs to see this content, by all means, share this with them. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone, and have a fantastic Monday afternoon. Thanks for watching.